It's morning once again. We're a few seconds early of 8 o'clock because I don't have like a clock with like a second, so I can bang it right there at the top of the hour. But now we're right there at the top of the hour. Good Wednesday morning, everyone. December the 3rd, 2025, 26 degrees outside. If you're in the 72601 region, pretty consistent. And also frosty, frosty, frosty. Good Lord, is it frosty out there? But surprisingly, not as cold as it was. I am always dumbfounded by that. Like the other, I know it's moisture in the air. It's whatever. I don't care. I'm not one of these meteorological sorcerers. I leave that role specifically to my buddy Brandon Ruley with Storm Track 360 and Storm Tracks. I can't speak yet. StormTrack360.com. Going with a little water this morning instead of the coffee. Did a lot of coffee last night, so it's like I'm a little dehydrated. Remember, kids, everything in moderation. So, what are you doing today? It's Wednesday. We're 22 days away. 22 days away from Christmas. Can you believe that? I can't either. Really, truly not. It's like, dang, it's a flying. So, I don't know, but I'm sure it'll be a fun one. I hope everybody is doing good with all of that. I hope you got, I don't know, whatever you do. I hope you're already done with it. So now you're kind of resting and relaxing. You're not stressing because we don't want to stress. Why? Because stress is bad, unnecessary. Move away from it. And that's why we hang out and have coffee, or in this case, water of a morning. I forgot to turn off that little dinger because this is about you and me time. We're just hanging out. We're just talking. Enjoying some coffee or water as I am this morning. Let me come back over here, see if we can get this comments thing working right. Actually, before we do all that, okay. So last night, I saw. I guess it was well. Let's see. This post went up 12 hours ago. Dig it. My buddy Roger Jones, that you may remember from Liquidation Outlet, but you know him even better now from Ozark's Cabinet Source. Roger popped the picture. This is Roger's picture. Okay, this is not just some random willy nilly guy. No, this is Roger Jones, man. And I know Roger well. And so there's his picture he put up of the thing in the sky. Did you see it? I was inside. I was working on some stuff. So I didn't get a chance to go look. But Alicia had seen something like this before. So let's see. Let's do it like this. And then let's just do this second screen thing. How about that? And there we go. So there's the whole shebang. Now, some are saying it's like part of like one of the Starlink satellites or the things launching or whatever. But here's the fun part. I have not been able to confirm through reported sources as of yet this morning what it is. But I don't know. But it's not a star. It's not a plane. It's not a bird, nor is it Superman. It's a something. What that something is, I don't know. But then again, let's think about this, guys, before. And it's so funny because like where we are in like public discourse and conversation and mainstream push is the whole alien ET extraterrestrial thing. Which again, I pretty much made up my mind on it to a point. I'm still open minded. Sure, something could happen, and Mr. Spock could show up with some more Vulcans, and we make the whole first contact thing. But I'm not feeling it. I'm just, do you? Everybody's got an opinion because nobody's proven anything conclusively. But my thoughts, though, is while the solar system, let alone the universe and the galaxy and the universe are just ginormous, and mathematically it seems almost impossible not to have something else out there. I don't know. So my thought is this: at this stage of the game, and with technology as it is, cameras everywhere in your pocket and everywhere else, the only footage that's ever officially released is like the grainy black and white shot through a potato type thing. So I don't know. It's like I am going to need something far more conclusive, like literally ET come walking on his knuckles in here saying, "Sup, dude?" And I'll be like, "Dude, sup?" And then I'll be like, "Okay, they're aliens." But until then, not so much. I'm not down with it. But anyway, what do you think? Did you see it? I didn't. And don't get me wrong. Now, of course, I've shared things where I'm like, that was weird. And I saw it myself, but I personally experienced it. And I haven't seen that. There's another personal experience thing that happened a few years ago. I'm not going to talk about the whole thing right now because it wasn't really where I wanted to go this morning. But I had a YouTube video show up last night in a feed that was the first time that someone, it was in regards to Bigfoot. I'll tell you the whole story at another time. But I never was one to get into the Bigfoot, Legend of Creek, Bigfoot monster thing. It's just like, okay, whatever it is. I personally hadn't experienced it until I did. But it wasn't anything spooky. Well, I wasn't worried about a big man in an ape suit or a big ape in a man suit. It was just, it was weird, right? Anyway, but on this YouTube video, for the first time now, I guess it was like 5 years ago when I saw what I saw, and it was here, okay, not walking in the room right now, in this room I'm at right now, but no, I did see something that I had never heard described this way when it comes to the Bigfoot thing. But this YouTube video popped up that's relatively recent that was reviewing and talking about a documentary that a guy put out about Bigfoot, that's kind of changing the narrative on that. Spooky kooky thing about it is that that's what I saw. And I hadn't seen anyone else ever, ever just have a Bigfoot sighting like that. It was interesting. But now, even with what I saw, the only thing I could tell you is what I saw. I can't tell you what it was specifically because it was too far off. That makes me sound a little wishy-washy. No, no, mm-mm. That's that's that I want to believe part of my brain. Also, not wanting to be. I'm not really crazy, y'all. I promise I'm not. Oh, let's see here. Refreshing some stuff over here, taking a look, because I don't even know if this is going out over there right now because the way this thing is working. Hey, no, there I am. There I am. And you are watching. Thank you for whoever's watching. Let me pin that and get in here. And man, I gotta get this restream thing worked out for the um comments. Like interacting. Good morning, Damien. There you are. There we go. There we go. All right. So now we know Damien's there. Thanks, buddy. Anywho, so I don't know. I don't know, but I do know the Bigfoot thing that I saw, um, which is real. I mean, it was like it was early in the morning. Um, that's funny. Chased by a wolverine, and not to be confused with Hugh Jackman, because I heard he's kind of hard to get away from. Sexy beast. But anywho, I'm telling you, it's just I was just a little taken aback last night because of all the crazy talk. There's no longer crazy talk; it's all mainstream, which to me makes it far more suspect than ever before. Seriously, I had to find that, and we'll talk about it at some point. Maybe I'll. Nah, it's not that big a deal. It's weird not having coffee with you this morning, but I needed water. I needed to do water. I did. So where are we at? 8 minutes into the 8 o'clock hour, still 26 degrees out there. And it's going to warm up today, though, looking at a high of 49. So really lovely day, but man, is it frosty. Very frosty out there. And big shout out. I got to give a big shout out to my good buddy and pal, the Space Cowboy, Jason Jones. He had sent me a message last night. He actually ordered a copy of my book a little bit back when I was doing one of the pushes and promos. And so, ginormous shout out and thank you to my, once again, my very good buddy. We got stories we could share too. Jason Jones, the Space Cowboy, the head honcho of Mid States Wrestling. And I got to get out to a show. I think I've missed the last one here, though. I did actually, but that's okay. That's okay. They got the. We'll work that out. Did you miss it? Sucks, don't it? Yeah. Maybe we'll work that out. We will. What else is happening? It's so funny. It's like trying to like barely keep up with the news headlines out there. It's all the same, sorta. There's some talk about like tokenization of like the currency system, and that boils down to like a central bank digital currency that everybody's been paranoid about for a good while now. But it looks like something like that's getting closer. Isn't that weird? It was a conspiracy. Sure it was. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know. So we're in strange times because at 2025, we have seen now in just the past, I mean, really in the past 3 years, things have changed so much. And I wonder, are you aware of how much things have changed? outside of just your personal bubble. Because inside the personal bubble, it seems like, nah, it's all kind of the same. Me, no. I mean, I've been working and playing with stuff. I wrote a book. I wrote a book, guys. I'm an author. That was really where I wanted to go in life, and that's where I am in life. And I'm an author who also happens to do other stuff because I did a lot of stuff for a long time. So I kind of stacked up those skills and whatnot. So, oh yeah, Damien, I mean AI, the digital currency thing. Here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. We're kind of already there in more ways than one. And I'll even take it back to like the year 2000. Remember when everything was going to fall apart at the year 2000 because the computers were going to crash? Well, here's the thing. It was actually in 99 guy I was working with at the time. He kind of pointed something out and everybody was in the whole Y2K panic. Actually, it was before 99. It was like it may have been like 98, actually. Anyway, and we just got on the subject of that possible potential Y2K computers resetting to 1900 instead of 2000. I always thought it was kind of dumb myself, but didn't really put any thought into it. Well, this guy did put thought into it, but it wasn't very much. It was like, it's really not going to be a problem at all. I'm like, well, why is that, butthead? He's like, well, because look at your debit card, look at your credit card. And you already saw that the expiration had already rolled to either 00 or 01. So yeah, guess what? There really wasn't a problem. So, but now that also goes to the next thing. We were using debit and credit cards, which are what? Ones and zeros. They're not stacks of cash. They're not lumps of gold. So a digital currency is kind of pretty much where we are. And considering the fiat system, none of it's real in the first place. The dollar's not backed by gold. So it's not that type of promissory note anymore. I don't know. I personally, at this point, I don't care. I really don't. It's something that is way beyond my ability to control. I can comment on it, sure, but on the whole, there's not a thing I can do. They closed the planet down in like a minute. They closed the planet down in like a minute. Remember that? Yeah, I couldn't do anything about that. I had protested in my own little ways. It wasn't really a protest per se. I just said, no, I'm not doing that. And yeah, so there was that. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'm hoping because I'm sure that like with Damien, you're paying attention, and other folks who like tune in for the most part right now in these early days of the podcast at only 34 episodes in. Y'all are aware people, you're paying attention to stuff for the most part. But I think as things may grow as they look like they will and should and do, um, there'll be some folks who really don't have a clue and they're going to be confused and they're going to be wondering. And I hope to do my part in like, sharing the stories that might help them with um, just getting up to speed because it's wild, man. It really is. It's like very, very, very wild. What else is happening in Crack Like It before we get into today's topic from the book that I hope makes your life better as we continue to combat the loneliness epidemic by way of just hanging out and having coffee and or water because stay hydrated, right? I'm harping on it because you need to, especially when it's dry out there like it is, even though it's not that dry this morning since all of the frost shows that it's not that dry. Gosh, it's a complicated world. Okay, I got nothing. So anyway, let's do this. Let's go into where we are. Now, first off, let me show you the little totem that we put together for today's example. If you saw it in my little good morning post, this guy is so cute. Now, who is he? He is the spark analyzer. Let's see if it'll focus up. Anyway, he's fun and he's cute. And he's a little robot. Now, what's he for? Why, he is another one of these little digital dudes that can help you analyze your totem. No, I'm really not kidding. It's like this won't do jack. It's just a little piece of plastic, but it just serves as a reminder to kind of when you think about things and look at things. And when we talk about, or when I talk about this whole toys being totems, it's mainly what do they represent, and that's what totems are, right? They're things that represent other things, and um, when the title and well first the concept then the title when it came to me as toys are totems and thinking totems as in like and I was going to go that direction with like a one of those tiki towers, um because or tiki totems sort of like what wrecked Greg Brady on the Brady Bunch. um anyway, it was going to go that direction, but honestly, it was just a little too. It didn't work. I like creating a superhero for the role because they're more fun. So that's where Totemo came and was born. I designed him up, and then I 3D printed him up because that's how I roll. Um, just again, these little trinkets can be nice little reminders of things. And when you go to the book, turn with me now, class. Page 23, chapter 3, the Totem Decoder 101. Now, with Totemo there, it gave me the idea to create a custom GPT. Why? I'd never done it. So I did. And in the back of the book is the QR code, and there's other places you can access it. And it's just like a freebie a freebie throw-in thing that really isn't a part of the book itself. I just put it in there at kind of at the second. Well, it was actually the second round that I did it. But anyway, I put it in there because I thought it would be kind of fun to give people an opportunity to start learning about AI at that point in a fun way. And so the way the totem analyzer works by way of the custom GPT I created, uh, which really wasn't that difficult. And I want you to see that because understanding the technology keeps the technology from running all over you, right? And so it was my way of like kind of helping introduce you to some of this stuff that was out there. That was fun because when you scan the total, well, okay, the way it works is pretty simple. You scan the code, it opens up the custom GPT that's designed to help you dive into like your favorite thing, like it does in the book, right? But for the most part, it works really well. As far as like, say you pop a picture. Well, here, let me just. Damn it, Jim. Oh gosh, I am so on it. Let's see, let's see. Let me go back over here and let me open up the. Come on. What are you doing? Where's he at? Uh, Hold on one second. Something seems to be amiss. I love live TV. That's all right though. All right, let's see. Something is wonky and I gotta fix it. But not really. You know what? Screw it. That's not what was on the agenda. No need to deviate. It's my world. Turn to page 23 and we'll talk about this. Oh my goodness. But anyway, the Totem Decoder 101. Now, again, when you look around at the stuff around you and you take the time to kind of like maybe question yourself as to why you have it, especially if you have a lot of them, right? If you have a lot of representations of a thing. Okay, if you are, say, a Kansas City Chiefs fan and you are wall to wall with Kansas City Chief merchandise, do you ever stop to think, why? Why are the Kansas City Chiefs your team or LSU or the Razorbacks or whoever? Why are they your team? Ever think about it? I don't know. I can't answer that for you, but if you dive into that, and you might find that your connection to a team is more than just the team itself. I could only speculate, so I'm not going to. That's on you. But anyway, here we go. I'm going to just kind of read you an excerpt here from 23. I opened it up actually on chapter 22 with a top of chapter quote or a pre-chapter quote that I really, really like. Creative people are curious, flexible, persistent, and independent with a tremendous spirit of adventure and a love of play. And that's Henry Matisse. I don't know. He's a French painter and cutout paper or cut paper pioneer, which I read that stuff, and that's why I pulled that quote to put in the book. I didn't worry about pronouncing his name, and I still don't. But anyway, the point being is that again, that's the thing that creative people are curious, flexible, persistent, and independent with a tremendous spirit of adventure and a love of play. And we all are that creative people, every one of us. Once you tap back into the thing that excites you and gives you joy and brings you the happiness, because we're all creative. Even you say, I ain't got no imagination. Yes, you do. I'm not very creative. Yes, you are. But you just may have lost touch of it because of the mundane things that we all have to go through in life. And that's why when you go to look at the stuff around you, even if you're like in a monochrome world that has no life and color, there's going to be something in there that actually reflects that creative side of you. I just want to help you pull it out. Anyway, reading quickly from chapter 3, the Totem Decoder 101. Every collector has a pattern, even if they don't know it yet. Didn't I just say that? That's the secret most people miss when they talk about toy collecting like it's some generic hobby. They assume it's all about trends or nostalgia, but if you zoom in close enough, you'll find something more: a blueprint, a psychological map, a living, breathing decoder ring of the soul. I'm serious about that. And the toys you're drawn to, they're not random. Some people are drawn to action figures, the heroes, the warriors, the icons of strength and resolve. Others lean towards vehicles and playsets, world builders who want context, terrain, control. Some collect the villains because deep down, they're trying to understand their own shadow. I've done that. Some seek oddities, sidekicks, background characters because they've spent a lifetime feeling like one themselves. Which is funny. It's like as a kid, it's like, and when I think back to things like Superman is always my thing, right? But when I think back to being a kid, when we were all playing and such, and doing the thing, I was always happier, always being Robin versus playing like I was Batman or even Superman. Robin, I always it just something about that sidekick aspect I like. And looking back and thinking about it, I guess because I like the idea of helping someone be Batman. You realize that Robin helps Batman be Batman back in the old days before it got so gritty, which is fine. But Robin helped Batman be Batman. And the best sidekicks do that. They're the complement. It's like Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon. You know, Johnny Carson was a great Johnny Carson, but he got a little bit better thanks to Ed McMahon being a really good Ed McMahon. Just saying. And to the younger people in the audience that don't know what I'm talking about, read a book. Anyway, look at your shelf right now. What dominates it? Is there a theme, a tone, a personality type that keeps showing up? That is your totem pattern, right? And right now, I'm looking. Well, one of the big things that I'm looking at when I look over here to what is actually my right, even though it looks stage left. Anyway, I'm looking, and there's a lot of 3D printed stuff of characters that I know and love, and some that I created. And I look at it, and it jumps out at me very, very quick. I'm printing things that are familiar because that's the safety zone. But now I'm branching out and printing more of my own creations because I got the confidence in the usage of the technology that I'm not afraid to take a shot on something that I already created before. But now I'm taking it to the next level by bringing it into this three-dimensional world. Says a lot. Anyway, and when you start paying attention to that pattern, something wild happens. You start to understand yourself a little more clearly, just like I explained. So that's about it. Page 24, you can pick up from there. You should. Anyway, then also in the back of the book, in the journal section, the appendixes, I've actually got, let's see, what is that, B or A? I think that's A. Yeah, Appendix A is the totem decoder quiz on page 76. And it's not exhaustive, but I think there will be a Toys or Totems 2 Electric Boogaloo um, maybe sometime next year because I want to really. But then again, see, nobody reads a book, and again, I don't fault anybody for that. I ain't judging you. I think you should, not necessarily mine. Yes, mine, but also other books. I think people need to get books back in their hands. It's important. It really is because one of the things that I have seen in where are we at? And what I've seen when it comes to people utilizing the AI tools and all of that, um, that it can numb you, make you not necessarily, it can make you a little dumber too. But it can definitely, if you lean too much on the tool, then the tool really is doing all the work. And considering what these things do, they totally can do, you can allow it to do too much work. And you don't want that. Seriously, because it's like it's awesome having it. Remember in school, you had to do your math on paper and show your work and all that stuff. And then because you're never going to have a calculator all the time, this is what the teachers would say. Well, Miss Denman, you were so wrong. God rest your soul. But the truth is, though, is we have gotten to the point, and I've noticed that with kids today, that they do know they've just got a calculator that is a full-on like calculus calculator or whatever, and working it out on paper, not so much. It's not their fault. They didn't. I mean, if we don't teach them, they don't know. And we ourselves have gotten lazy with doing math and just using the calculator. Again, fine tool. But the ability to actually bang it out on paper is still kind of important because your brain is processing that process. Um, Do kids even have to memorize the multiplication table anymore? I don't know. Again, we homeschooled, so that wasn't a thing. But I've seen that though, and that's where the physical is still so important in things because the digital transition ain't stopping. The AI integration is clunky right now, but it's still there because it's been there because we've been programming it since things like the Facebook and the YouTube, really. So it's like my hope is to encourage you to do some of the old stuff. Again, enhance organic creativity and connection in the age of AI and social media because it's not going away. But we have to hold on to our humanity and our human traits that make us awesome and give us the opportunity to use the technology as best as it can be used in a good way. This is a weird world, man. I know, again, tomorrow, no pressure, tomorrow, I will officially be 52 years old. Today, I'm still 51 and 364 days old. And it's funny, it's like the lead up. I got to tell you, the best year of birthdays, as far as like all the pinnacle and points, was 51 for me. Yeah. So, you younger folks out there, um, pay attention to this because we get those benchmarks in life when it comes to birthdays. Like, you're striving to be a teenager first. 13 kind of sucks, but it's better than 12 because 12 is such a weird number. But then we're 16 because that's good marketing. Somebody came up with that along the way, put it in a song, put it in some movies, and the Sweet 16 thing stuck. Because it's funny because it's like when you learn about other cultures, like inside of the Mexican culture where you have quinceañeros at 15. But why not 16? Well, that's an American thing. We had to throw one more in. But seriously, then you're striving for 18. So then you're like, you're legal to vote and other things you can do at 18. And then at 21, you can start drinking legally, buying the booze and all that, which is funny because that's shifted, right? People don't realize that it was a different number at different times, or if there was ever a number at all. But then you got other benchmarks like 30, I think is the next big one after 21. Lordy, done turned 30. No, that's the wrong one. I don't know. 30 something. Anyway, then bump up to 40. That's the one. The lordy, who done turned 40? 40 was not that big a deal to me. 21, nope. But I was a hellion, so all of the benefits you're supposed to get at 21, truth be told, statute of limitations is over. I was already doing it because I was Gen X, man. But when you look at okay, let's say, so we had 21, again, not eventful for me. I was already doing life. 30, I wanted it to make some sense, but it didn't. 40, everybody else made a bigger deal out of it than I did. It just, but that was the bigger benchmark, the first like really big one, as far as like those things. But then along comes 50. That's that half century part. And I was like, 50. Still didn't resonate, didn't really pop, it's like nothing about it. But then 51. When 51 happened, that was different. When I turned 51, something clicked in my head that, dude, you're 5 decades plus one on the planet. We really are on that snowball rolling downhill. Son of a gun. So I put a different perspective with that number 51. Because now I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that if we go statistically, there's about 24 more years inside of this machine for me to keep playing out here. And then if I look within family history and genetics and such, may have half of that. I don't know. You don't know. We don't know. But I do know that, yeah, if I look at family history, then maybe 10 to 15 years. Huh. That's perspective. Because that's the question you should ask yourself. If this was your last, and I heard this when I was younger, and I tried to be mindful of it, but I was also immortal like every other young person. But once you get to that point when you realize you're not immortal in this physical form, um, then you ask yourself, what did I do with my time before? Huh. You start going into Doc Holiday mode. You live every day like it's your last day. Why the hell not? And that's actually been a very good thing. I like that. Much happier with life that way. Every day is a new adventure. Yes, I got things I do every day as part of my pillars of life, and I'm focused in on that. And I have goals for every day that can make for a brighter future on this side. But on the whole, I know at any given moment now, hold on, bucko, anything can happen. So I don't know, 51 was a big thing. Now 52, will that mean anything different? Will I feel different, have a different perspective? No, I don't see it. Mainly because, again, Gen X, we've lived through everything. The technological advances. I don't know if there's another generation that saw as much as we have in societal change, because we have. Oh my God. If you are Gen X, you know what I mean. We have so been through the ringer over a span of time. Now, like the younger kids today, they got punched in the face fast. I mean, they really did. When you think about the kids who are like 5, 10, and 15 years old in 2020, think about what they saw and how they perceive the world now, because they got hit with a whole lot of mistrust fast. Everything that they thought they knew got ripped out from with it, and that's a young mind getting impacted like that. It's wild. Damn, Jim, loosen up. It's supposed to be light. Having because I'm not having coffee. I'm having water instead. Coffee talk, Jim. But I needed the water this morning. Trying to be a good boy, health conscious. Because again, you get older, things break. Type 2, all that stuff. I don't know, but I hope you all have a good day. Thanks for hanging out. What else is going on that maybe let me go through the thing. All right, now the book always available on Amazon. You can do that, or you can just DM me directly, and we'll work it out. Books are $20, shipping's free. Uh, there's that, and then the service sector of what I do in life with the Eric Third Green content creation, getting some things finalized time wise so I can sit down and start putting together some like tutorials for people. Because again, where we're going in the age of business and advertising and marketing and promotion, you're going to have to get proactive people. If you are in a business organization or anything that you need exposure, you're going to have to grow your skill set. You just are, period. And I would love to be the guy who could do the work for you. No, I would not love that, actually. I love working with people, but I wouldn't want to be the one to have the mountain of work on top of me to help you get your word out, because I'm only one person. I've accepted that, another lesson at 50 or 51. So I don't know. I want to just do what I can, share some insights that I've picked up over the years. Again, I am not a guru. I don't know it all. There are people who know more than I do. But I know a couple things that might help you because they helped me when I learned them, or I wouldn't have tried to learn them in the first place. So that's coming. And then, of course, with the community project being the 2026 virtual stump, which is actually a virtual stump that I hope goes on forever and forever and ever. Be sure to check it out at 72601life.com. Click on the virtual stump link, picture, click, and get caught up to date in Boone County, Arkansas, for all the people who are wanting to represent you on the local and state levels, as well as the federal, because also the Senate race with Tom Cotton going for re-election, that's a happening, and he has contenders this year, so, or for next year. So with that said, well, he actually has a primary challenger, a local guy, Jeb Little. So learn about Jeb. Learn about Cotton. If you don't even know, because there's a possibility you may even know who he is, even though he's been a senator for quite a while. You may not have a clue who he is. And that's another reason. That's the main reason why the virtual stuff exists. So you can get to know the people who want to represent you. And I'll say it again loud and proud. Anybody who doesn't want to participate in that platform, it's a freebie thing, man. It costs you nothing. And but I haven't had anybody decline at this point, just to clarify. But anybody who would, you're a fool. Not just because I'm giving you free exposure. No, because you're showing your hand that if you're not willing to talk to a camera just to say who you are, what you're running for, and why you're wanting people to vote for you, um, I don't see you being a good representative of the public. My opinion and thought, but that's just what I feel about it. Because if you're not willing to do just that little to communicate with your constituency, what's wrong with you? All right. It's been a sloppy show. And I know I appreciate everyone who checks out this sloppy show. Will it get better? Probably. Can I guarantee it? Yeah, I can. But I'm just working on it this morning. It was a good night last night. I had to do some stuff, and I was very happy with the outcome. So a little late, and then I wouldn't go to sleep. I just wouldn't let myself do it. So I stayed up too damn late. But that's okay. All is well. All is good, and we're done. We're done here. We're done. You're done. I'm done. We're done. We're done. Yeah, we're done. Anyway, tomorrow I'll see you on my birthday. Bring cake. Oh, wait, don't type 2. Anyway, let's get out of here. Y'all go have a good Wednesday. Tell your friends, your neighbors that, you know what? You're all right, pal. Let's have a cup of coffee. Tomorrow, I'll be back with that. Good night, everybody. Wait.